Even the war's 9.5% rise in the US prices in February shocked everyone, since inflation should not be more than that. However, experts calmed this down by saying that we've reached the peak and that we can expect the Fed's intervention to bring that number down. But much information right turned out to be even the war's rise in US prices to their highest rate since 1981. In all, there are 8 billion individuals in the world. Hendrix, the legendary guitarist for the thousands of companies. Hey, let's talk how to prepare for the global recession. The economy might be thrown into a crisis from which it would take years to recover if one incorrect turn is made. However, what precisely are prices increasing for? How long will they continue to rise? And whether or not we're going into a recession or a depression will be answered in this video. So, please give it a thumbs up and let's get started. Oil costs have been a major factor in the rise in pricing. There has been a dramatic increase in demand for oil since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has led to a substantial increase in the price of the oil. However, in 2020, oil prices touched a negative $40, which signaled that the end of oil was near. Since oil is the primary means of transportation for nearly all of the world's goods, as long as the conflict in Ukraine rages, the price of oil will continue to rise. Experts told us that the world would no longer be dependent on oil in the next 10 to 15 years. However, oil is currently trading at over $150 per barrel. While Russia may be the world's most populous nation, it has an economy the size of South Korea's one, which is both a strength and a weakness. In terms of oil production, Russia accounts for 15% of the world's total supply, but it's also a major producer of natural gas, accounting for 13% of overall supplies and roughly 40% of the total gas consumption in the European Union. Countries all across the world, but particularly those in Europe, rely on Russian coal for 7% of their total coal consumption. In order to give you a sense of just how reliant you both are on petroleum and natural gas, isolating oneself from the global economy is producing an energy catastrophe since crude oil makes up roughly 44% of the worldwide energy demands, coal 35%, and natural gas 26%, which totals around 105% of human global energy needs. Russia's oil, gas, and energy exports have been banned by the United States. Although the United States and the United Kingdom have already banned Russian oil, Eurocabs will follow suit as soon as possible because some countries rely on Russia for over 60% of their energy, and as long as the conflict in Ukraine continues, energy prices will rise, reducing the purchasing power of Americans as their incomes do not rise by 9.5% in average. Oil prices may fall even if the situation in Ukraine is resolved, but Russia has made it clear that it has no intention of stopping its aggression in Ukraine. The Soviet Union's empire stretched from East Germany to Afghanistan, and although Russia may not have the means to rebuild it all, it has made it a point to keep the former Soviet republics reliant on Russian food imports since the fall of the Soviet Union. The actual goal of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is to annex the country to its boundaries, and the country will not stop until it does. The Hills, for example, the ninth largest nation in the world economically, depends greatly on Russia, and in January, a product as a wrap was introduced in one of the cities, and guess whose assistance the country's president requested exactly? Russia. In addition to the fact that 30% of Kazakhstan's population is Russian, if the Protestants rap again Russia could use the same excuse to send its force to Kazakhstan. You will see similar stories in most former Soviet republics, such as Georgia and Armenia, if you look across. As a result of the numerous conflicts that lie ahead, the United States has imposed the most severe sanctions on Russia in order to drain its resources and prevent it from starting another one. Another conflict that could send oil prices skyrocketing is the one that could erupt in the neighboring Azerbaijan and other Central Asian republics, such as Kazakhstan. China is the largest supplier of computer chips, whereas Taiwan is a significant electronics manufacturing. Because computer processors and graphics cards are already in low supply throughout the globe, you may have trouble purchasing your PlayStation 5 or other high-end devices. A lack of chips in the world's second largest economy would cause global inflation to quadruple if China invades Taiwan and the US sanctions are imposed. And the world's largest economy is shortage of chips. In the meanwhile, John Harris has an excellent video detailing why China will ultimately take over Taiwan, which you should see if you want to have a better understanding of this war. A worst-case scenario is that the economy grows slowly and unemployment remains high due to the high cost of energy and the consequent shortage of wheat and semiconductors. Experts believe that this is more like a taxation than a recession because prices will continue to rise while supplies of wheat and semiconductors are scarce. When it comes to potential financial crisis, we have never seen anything like this before. And it's all about a conflict in Ukraine, which might cause Russia to reconsider its plan to invade another nation, or it could cause China to reconsider its plans to take over Taiwan. High debts, such as the European debt crisis of 2008, are frequently caused of recessions. I told Bob that the next recession would have to have within itself factors like the dot-com bubble or abrupt economic shocks like the pandemic in 2020, when we all have to quarantine and a few other preparations. The only difficult is that it is not apparent how to prepare for this catastrophe. My notes are falling and the dollar is depreciating as a result of this information, which means that the stock market is in a bubble and the Fed may have to intervene to bring it down as well. You supposed to keep cash invest in the stock market or get the 6 or 7% mortgage rate. Well, that's all we have for today. Till next time, peace.